Hello everyone, this is Dr. Suraj and today we will be discussing how to manage a case of acromegaly. Now, management will be starting with the investigations and then treatment. So, basically, if I say that acromegaly is nothing but because of a GH secreting pituitary adenoma. It's because of GH secreting pituitary adenoma. Now, please remember some unique features about this GH secreting pituitary adenoma. They are macroadenoma. Most commonly, they are macroadenomas. Okay. Unlike prolactinomas, they are microadenomas mostly. Unlike prolactinoma, it is more common in males than females. And also, please remember, as it is macroadenoma, so the mass effect and the pressure symptoms, mass effect means pressure symptom, and the stalk effect, they are more prominent in case of pituitary adenoma. Okay, please remember the most common pituitary adenoma is prolactinoma. It's the most common pituitary adenoma, prolactinoma, which is mostly microadenoma, which is mostly seen in female more than male, and this ratio is around 20:1. Okay, we'll be talking about prolactinoma management in a separate video. Okay, and then please remember it is the GH secreting. So one question, if they ask you what is the most common pituitary adenoma, then clinically evident is prolactinoma. Prolactinoma is most common pituitary adenoma that is clinically evident. If they ask you that is microadenoma, so instead of asking most common pituitary adenoma, if they ask you which is the most common pituitary macroadenoma, in that case prolactinoma is not going to our answer, because prolactinoma is microadenoma. Around 90% of the prolactinoma are microadenoma. Okay, around 10% are macroadenoma. Better to call it as around 9% is macroadenoma, and around 1% is giant pituitary prolactinoma. So most common pituitary macroadenoma, then answer will be GH secreting pituitary adenoma. Okay, so the pituitary adenoma, the most common is prolactinoma, followed by GH secreting tumor, followed by ACTH secreting tumor. These both are mostly macroadenomas, and I told you prolactinoma is a microadenoma mostly. Understood? Now, and also as prolactinoma is a microadenoma, so here basically the hormonal effects are mostly evident. Mass effect and the stalk effect are evident in case of macroversion. So with this we are just going to discuss the management of pituitary adenoma, which is a GH secreting tumor, because acromegaly means mostly it is a pituitary adenoma which is GH secreting. So our management is going to be mainly focused on the management. First is the investigation. So what investigation we are going to do? The first thing that we'll be going to do is a screening test. So the screening test we are going to do is basically to assess the IGF-1 levels. Okay, as we know that GH का जो peripheral actions है that is mainly mediated by IGF-1. Okay, so GH hormone is actually acting. GH will act on the liver has the GH receptor, and it will act, and then from liver IGF-1 will be secreted, and this IGF-1 is going to do various functions of GH in the periphery. So IGF-1 assay is done, screening. Why not GH? Why not GH? Please remember, why not GH? Please remember that because GH is the half-life is 5 to 20 minutes only, and the secretion of GH is pulsatile, so you cannot measure the GH because of the short half-life, and because of the pulsatility nature of the secretion, you won't get a constant value of GH. Okay, so GH is not preferred, rather IGF-1 is preferred. Please do remember that thing. GH assay and ACTH assay are not helpful in laboratory because of their nature of these things. So screening test is done. Please remember this thing, because IGF-1 has longer half-life, it has longer half-life, T-half, and also it is non-pulsatile release is there. There is non-pulsatile release. But after that, if you find something, then you have to go and confirm it. So what is the confirmatory test here? The confirmatory test that we are going to do is oral glucose suppression test, or OGST. Okay, oral glucose suppression test or OGST. Now here what we are going to do, basically we'll load with 75 gram of glucose. And after 1 hour we'll assess the GH level. Understood? We are going to assess the GH levels here. So you are loading with glucose, and after 1 hour you are going to assay, you are measuring the GH level. So normally what happens, hyperglycemia, normally if your blood sugar is high, please remember this thing, that increased in glucose and somatostatin, these are the two things, okay, for now they are going to decrease the GH level. So here please remember that when this we are loading with glucose, there is increased in glucose, so GH level if we measure after 1 hour, it should be less than 1 nanogram per ml. That is seen in case of normal people. Understood? Because of loading there is hyperglycemia. Okay, because of loading there is hyperglycemia, and that is going to decrease the GH level. So in a normal person, because of the suppression of the GH release, you will get a decrease in level, a GH. But what happens if it is a case of GH secreting pituitary adenoma? There is a high level of GH, so you will get, even after 1 hour, you will get more than 1 nanogram per ml. So there is rather no decrease. There is no decrease in GH levels. That invariably indicates a case of acromegaly. Okay, if you see the level is exceeding more than 40 nanogram per ml, it suggests that is a very worst prognosis. Very worst prognosis. Okay, so this is the investigations. Number 1 I told you, screening test. Next is confirmatory test. Let us mention one thing that is also very important, is the investigation of choice. Obviously it is contrast enhanced. With contrast we use gadolinium. So gadolinium gadolinium enhanced MRI has to be done. It is okay? Yeah. So this is screening, confirmatory and investigation of choice. After confirming a case, then we have to manage it. So management, investigation done. Now management is the treatment part. So please remember here, the first line of treatment is always surgical. The first line of treatment is always surgical, unlike prolectinoma, where we first use the medical treatment. Here first line of treatment is always surgical. What surgery we are gonna do? Yeah, this is transsphenoidal surgical resection has to be done. So transsphenoidal resection of the pituitary has to be done. Okay, now please remember, if it is a case of supposing my adenoma was, I told you it's mostly it's a macroadenoma. So if it is a macroadenoma, then in 50% of cases only there will be cure. But if it was a microadenoma, GH secreting microadenoma भी हो सकता है. तो अगर microadenoma है तो more than 80, let's take it as 80%, more than 80% will be cured. Okay, understood? So this is very important here. You have to know this thing. Most common is macroadenoma, and in that case only half of the cases will be cured. अगर microadenoma है तो 20% won't get cured. Okay. So what we have to do is that just after doing a surgery, we have to go for an immediate post-operative GH estimation. So you go for an immediate post-OT GH assay. Now why we are doing this thing? This is because this GH secreting pituitary adenoma has a high chance of getting relapsed. So there is a high chance of relapse. So relapse is more. So if we see that just after post-OT, the GH levels are normalized, or it is rather to say undetectable or not detectable. Okay, so in that case no further management is required. No further management is required. But supposing you say that this post-OT GH is detectable, and that is just after doing an OT, still the GH level is detectable, that means there is a high chance of relapse. Increased chance of relapse is there in future. So what do you do in that case? Please remember, in that case you have to follow it up. So in that case I am going to go for second line treatment, and that second line treatment is, yes, drugs, and we have to go for medical management, and you have to follow up with imaging studies like MRI, contrast enhanced or gadolinium enhanced, that is MRI has to be done after 3 months. So you have to do that thing. Understood? So you do a transsphenoidal, we do a surgery, and just after surgery you do a post-operative GH estimation, and if it is detectable, that means there is high risk of relapse. So in that case you have to put the patient on medical management. If the GH was undetectable, then you no need to start the patient on medical treatment. Okay, no need to start the patient on any drugs. But if there is detectable GH, then only we are actually putting the patient on medical management. We'll be discussing that, and then you have to follow it up with imaging studies, because there is relapse now. So whether relapse is happening or not, then we have to monitor it. Okay, so this is the main funda. Now supposing I told you relapse is there, so supposing follow up कर रहा हूँ, now there is relapse. Supposing a relapse is found on follow up, what will I do then? So in relapse case, please remember I have to go for a second. Okay, so in relapse case, supposing uh, in relapse case I have to go for second time surgery, but suppose the patient is not fit for surgery. So if the patient is fit for surgery, then only I can go for second time surgery. But supposing the patient is unfit for surgery, okay, supposing the patient is unfit for surgery, in that case, or supposing after second time there is again relapse, in that case also, in both these cases I have to go for gamma knife stereotactic radiotherapy. Okay, so I have to go for gamma knife stereotactic radiotherapy. Okay, this is the last option I have. Okay, so again repeating, okay, we'll be repeating it just after mentioning the medical management. Now coming to medical management, I told you that medical management has to be done if there is detectable GH post-op. Okay, so what are the medical management? The drugs we have. Please remember, medical management is second line treatment, it is not first line. So medical management, first thing what we can do, we can give, see here I told you na, somatostatin decreases GH na, so what we can use is a somatostatin analog, somatostatin analogs, that is somatostatin receptor analog, not somatostatin, somatostatin receptor ligand, or which is also known as somatostatin receptor ligand. This somatostatin will actually, these are analogs of somatostatin we use, and they will cause they will actually used for densely granulated tumors. Okay, we have two kinds of tumor in GH secretion. GH secreting pituitary adenoma has two kinds, one is densely, another is sparsely granulated. So densely granulated and sparsely granulated tumors, two kinds of tumors are there in case of GH secreting adenoma, and this densely one having good prognosis. So here we are continuing with, if it's a densely one, then we can go for somatostatin receptor analog or receptor ligand analog. So what are the drugs we can use here? Yes, as we use, one is called octreotide. Octreotide can be used. Okay, another drug is there which can be used is lanreotide, or we can use pasireotide. So octreotide, lanreotide, pasireotide, this can be used as subcutaneous dosing. Pasireotide is used as IM, and the efficacy is around 80%. Pasireotide ka, okay. Octreotide, the dose you can remember, the dose is like you can start with 50 microgram per DL and can actually 50 to 100 you can give, and then slowly you can increase the dose. Okay, so this is a somatostatin receptor ligand or somatostatin analog which you can use to decrease the GH. Also, suppose it's a case of prolactinoma associated GH secreting tumor, that is known as the, in 20% cases. Okay, I told you here also, see the first slide. Yeah, if you see, I told you that GH secreting are macroadenomas, and these macroadenomas are most common, around 98% are macroadenomas. Okay, and this macroadenoma is not only a GH secreting always. This macroadenoma, the 20% of that might be associated with prolactinoma also. So prolactinoma can be associated in 20 to 25% cases, and 68 60 to 68% cases may be isolated or only GH secreting pituitary adenoma. So in this case, where prolactinoma is also associated, that is also known as somatomammotropic adenoma. Okay, actually I want to concentrate on the management part. Somato means GH na, and mammotropic. So mammotropic means prolactin part आ गया adenoma. So in that case I can use bromocriptine. So in GH plus prolactinoma, if this thing is there, in that case I can use bromocriptine. I can use bromocriptine, or even I can use cabergoline. Bromocriptine or cabergoline can be used if there is associated increase in prolactin. Okay. Another condition, another drug is also there that can be used, that is known as pegvisomant. Pegvisomant is basically direct GH receptor antagonist. So it's a GH receptor antagonist which also can be used. Okay, so it's a somatostatin analog. This is GH receptor antagonist which also can be used. If there is GH level is so much high, then we can use this thing also. Okay, so this is what we have to remember in the treatment of acromegaly. Okay, please remember, pituitary function test is done in all patients with acromegaly because these are macroadenomas and stalk effect, mass effect, they are there. Okay, what is stalk effect, guys? I told you stalk effect. Let me discuss stalk effect here also. See, basically what happens, stalk effect क्या है? Generally if I say this is hypothalamus and this is pituitary. Okay, this is hypothalamus and this is pituitary. This is the anterior pituitary, as a posterior pituitary, and this is the hypothalamus. Okay, as we know that all hormones of the pituitary, if I say all hormones of the anterior pituitary are actually under control of hypothalamus except prolactin. But this except should be like that all hormones of the anterior pituitary are stimulated by hypothalamic releasing hormones except prolactin, which is under inhibitory control, that is by dopamine. So you have dopamine. This dopamine is actually making an inhibition always on the prolactin level, on the prolactin. So basically this dopamine is inhibiting the lactotroph cells which are secreting prolactin. Okay, so if there is supposing a pituitary tumor which is compressing the stalk here, what happens, the connection, or rather to say it's a relation, that is the hypophysiotropic relationship. Remember the hypothalamus anterior pituitary, the relation is hypophysial trophic relationship, and the relation between hypothalamus and posterior pituitary is neurohypophysial relationship. So because of the stalk effect, this relationship is gone. What happens, so all the the releasing hormone which are going to stimulate the tropic hormone of the the anterior hypophysis is going to lost. So what happens, your all hormones from the anterior pituitary will be decreased. But I told you dopamine is giving a negative control over prolactin. This thing also will gone, so your prolactin level will be increased. That means in stalk effect, ultimately what is happening, your hypopituitarism plus hyperprolactinemia. Understood why that is happening? Because of this negative control only. That is called stalk effect. That is the stalk effect only. Okay, so by that I am finishing with the management of the acromegaly, that is GH secreting pituitary adenoma, not covering the diagnosis, not covering the clinical features and other aspects of the GH here and IGF-1 here. Thank you.